I can talk about that later.
I wanted to
That's
talk about your stuff first. What do you want to talk about first?
well, Hi-Fi Rush. We can talk about it at the same time. Okay, so
Mm,
Resident Evil 4 got a 12 minutes of gameplay showcased by Game Informer. They, yeah, like usual, they do admit that they got accommodations by Capcom, and they're saying, well, yeah, we're not biased. I want to address certain things. First off, they don't sound like they actually know anything about Resident Evil 4. I do understand that some people um don't adhere too much to a vocabulary, although they do understand the thing intrinsically well. But when you hear them talk, you don't have this impression that they really know Resident Evil 4 because their vocabulary is so vague and large. For example, they say really basic bitch shit.
like what?
Just oh, the merchant. I wonder how he's carrying all of these things. They sound like the jokes about Link from Zelda. Like, how is he carrying all of these things? Or they see the last Plagas, but they don't remember the name of the Plagas. They just say, "Oh, the weird tentacle monsters." They really sound like casual people who don't really know
That sounds like
about.
normies.
Uh, they sound like normies who just happen. Maybe they played Resident Evil 4 once or twice, maybe three times, but they're not. They're not all about that life. And if we're talking about the actual gameplay of Resident Evil 4, I'd have to say that okay, it's probably going to be akin to Dead Space in the sense that it does seem enjoyable. The graphics look better. They do seem to have a lot of quality of life improvements. The gameplay looks more fleshed out. It still feels like it's going to be in the same. You're just still going to be playing Resident Evil 4, but with improvements. But my issue is that there is a couple of things that fall into the umbrella of modern game design, as in Ashley is wearing a lot of clothes. Ada too, even though Ada, the entire point was that she was
Sorry.
supposed to
That
be
sounds
this.
just wrong. Ashley is wearing a lot of clothes. Wink, wink,
Oh,
nudge,
that's
nudge.
gonna be taken out of context. They're gonna use that clip in court. Ada is supposed to be the sexy spy, but she's not wearing a dress anymore. She's
Oh
dressed
my god.
like she was supposed to be dressed in Resident Evil 2, and in 2 she's dressed like she was supposed to be dressed in 4. But in 2 they made her really cute. But here they made her not ugly, but she's she's more conservatively dressed. And my biggest pet peeve, that's not political, that one, is that it has nothing with being woke, but the characters do talk a fucking ton during gameplay. And there's two extremes. In Dead Space, Isaac didn't use to talk. And okay, that's kind of awkward when there's a lot of shit going on and the character doesn't speak. But then you have the other extreme where the characters have to mention, like, comment about everything every second, and
You
I don't
don't
mind if
love
there's
it?
something really intense. Let's say Leon shoots a bunch of the cart full of barrels in the beginning, and he blows up 12 people. If she makes a small comment, oh yeah, that's fine. But when you're just shooting a regular guy, it's like, okay, please shut the fuck up. And maybe I'm not gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, but maybe it's just in the early game when she's not used to seeing people getting killed. And in any other game, or 10 years ago, it'd be fine if they made a bunch of comments in the early game, and then as it goes on, they got more acclimated to the situation. But knowing modern games, they're just gonna blabber on the entire duration of the experience, and they're not gonna shut the fuck up. At the very least, I hope that there's a conversation slider like Forspoken, where you can tell them
No,
to
no,
almost shut the fuck
no.
up.
No,
Ideally, I would
that's
like to not
not
be a.
enough. Like, I want, like, the fact that you had to go to to a slider
You have to
to
have a
make
slider.
a dumbass stop talking, that's too much. Like
There
just too
shouldn't be a
much.
slider in the first place. In the first place, the character should make occasional quotes, but for the most part be silent. And when there's, like dead space, when someone is being torn apart or they're talking to Isaac, okay, have Isaac say a line or two, but you don't need the character to be talking constantly. I get it, but no, stop. Stop.
Yeah.
And also the censorship in the dialogue. And also the fact that they made Lewis really fucking ugly. Holy fucking shit, he looks like crap.
Yeah.
He looks like crapola. He looks like a wet rat. That's really specific. He looks like a wet rat.
Yeah.